WIT, are you ready?
Yes.
Good afternoon. This is a meeting of Wilmington City Council's Finance and Economic Development Committee. We're holding this meeting virtual on Monday, September 8th at 5 p.m. What I'd like to do first is do a roll call of the committee members to see who is here. Councilmember Ciro Adams.
Yes, I'm here, Bud, but I can't seem to get my video to work.
Okay. Councilmember Linda Gray. Councilmember Chris Johnson.
Here.
Thank you. Councilmember Santia Oliver. Councilmember Loretta Walsh.
Here.
And President Shabazz.
Here.
Okay, and I believe we're also joined by Councilmember Michelle Harley. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other council members on the line joining us? Okay. We only have one ordinance on the agenda today. This is ordinance 20-045, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the city's general obligation bonds and/or general obligation bond anticipation notes in one or more series on a tax-exempt and/or taxable basis in order to provide the funds to finance various capital projects of the city, providing for the sale of the bonds and authorizing other necessary action. Mr. Taylor, are you with us from the Director of Finance?
Yes, I am.
Can you just kind of walk us through this ordinance, the amounts we're talking about for the general and for the water sewer fund?
I'd be happy to. As per our usual biennial capital bond issuance, we intend to go out for approximately $42 million in new bond proceeds that will fund the FY18, a number of FY18 capital projects. This will be done in conjunction with a various number of refundings and refinancings that we are contemplating as part of the same issue. We are looking at a refunding issue of approximately $47 million and a refinancing of bond anticipation notes that we have previously drawn down on.
Mr. Taylor, I just want to focus on this ordinance and the issuance of new money.
That's fine. I wanted to give you some context. So the $42 million in new money will be split between the general fund and the water sewer fund. We anticipate going out for approximately $15 million in new general obligation bonds to fund projects in the FY18 capital projects. These run the range of fire apparatus and fire station renovations to playground improvements to park walkways and a number of infrastructure issues such as building improvements, transportation initiatives, and some acquisition and demolition.
IT, can you show the chart that shows the general fund capital projects? It's the one that shows a net of 15,265,000. Is that possible?
I don't have access to the.
Yeah, I was asking. There it is. Okay.
Excellent. I was going to go on to also the water sewer fund. You may wish to call that up as well.
Yeah, let's put up water sewer, then we can come back to these when there's questions.
Okay. For the water sewer fund, we're anticipating the financing of $25.3 million in public works projects. This runs the gamut of wastewater treatment plant, electrical system improvements, to pumping station improvements, to filter plant improvements and the like. In addition, we are going to be, and this has no bearing on the geo issue, but we anticipate using state revolving fund borrowing for some of the major sewer improvements and stormwater mitigation. If you'll go back to, I guess, the general fund, if you had specific questions about the general fund.
Well, why don't we have the water sewer fund up there showing borrowing of a little over $25,300,000. Now that's the water sewer fund. So any of that debt service is paid by the water sewer fund. Is there any questions from council members on this specific borrowing, not the general fund, just the water sewer fund? Ms. Harley, you have your hand up. Is it in regards to the water sewer fund?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
A quick-
ask your question, please.
Yes, it's just a quick question. I noticed on the line where it says South Wilmington Wetlands Park, there are $0 there. Does that mean that we have all the funding that is needed? Or what exactly does that mean? It's showing here, but with $0. I'm just trying to understand, what does that mean?
My belief is that the Wetlands Park has been funded through various other authorizations, particularly the state revolving loan fund that's going to be placed in there. So I think that we are okay with respect to having enough proceeds to be able to perform the improvements in the Wetlands Park.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other questions on the water sewer fund, capital projects as we move forward? Mr. Adams, do I see your hand up?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Taylor, nice to see you. Mr. Taylor, I see all these projects are numbered 18, okay, but do we have any money coming forward that we can reprogram for these items versus going out for new money, since that always costs money to go get new money?
We have generally reprogrammed as much as we possibly can. We do have approximately $5 million left over in the FY18 bond proceeds. That is going to be taken up primarily finishing up the projects in the FY16 capital projects. We do have some isolated areas where they're kind of restricted in terms of their use, such as neighborhood planning, infrastructure support. There are some smaller issues, but nothing large in terms of us being able to reprogram any out.
Understood. Because like 2-3 years ago, we had a situation where we still had a lot of funding left over. At what time, I mean, currently, what amount do we have that is not in use, that is, for lack of a better term, idle funds until it can be invested or used?
I will have to get back to you on that, Councilman.
Yeah. Would you please? Because that's important. We always seem to be having a really large balance held on to proceeds that we were unable to put in process, and we keep carrying those large amounts forward. And
yeah, my most recent estimate is that it's approximately $5 million that it's been earmarked. That does not include the $5 million that I just mentioned in terms of the 16. Like I said, that those are restricted. I will give you a list of what projects are currently, I guess, potential reprogramming. I will tell you that Works has been very, very active in terms of the spend down on a number of these projects. Public Works and in particular parks. A lot of money was left over in parks, and as you know, we've put a lot of effort into upgrading our parks in the last 2 years. So I think that a lot of that money was burned down. But I'd be happy to give you a roll-up of exactly what is still sitting out there.
Well, good, because if that number is 5 million, then that's way down from, I think, 33 from where it was previously. So that's a real good thing. One more question, if I may. If we do this bond issue, where is our net debt service amount after this issue? I think we were currently about 115, 116. Would you know what the amount would be if we were to issue these proceeds?
I'm sorry, I didn't prepare for that question. I'd be happy to get back to you on that. But I will tell you that the overall debt that we were, in terms of the overall debt for the system, we were about $268 million. With this, we'll be back to where we were, in I guess 2 years ago. However, I will tell you, I will give you the information because I think a number of debt is coming off of the books coming this year. So I'll be able to tell you what the net direct debt is.
Yeah, and as you know, Standard & Poor's and Moody's look specifically at that net debt service number. So I'd like to make sure that stays right around where it is. Yes. I'm finished. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying that given the sizing of this particular bond issue, I don't believe that we're going to be adding, I think we're going to be staying around where we are with respect to that.
Well, where we are is twice as much as the normal average. So we're hoping to bring that number down.
It is.
Yeah.
We can bring it down.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Taylor, thank you.
Any other questions on the water sewer fund? If not, I'm going to switch back and ask them to put the slide up for the general fund. Could you put the slide up for the general fund? That's the one with the net of about 15,265,000. Okay, thank you. Are there any questions on the general fund listing? Am I correct? I don't see any hands up. Okay, are there any other questions on the overall ordinance before I ask for it to be moved? Okay, not seeing any other hands. I'll ask for a motion to move ordinance 20-045, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of the city's general obligation bonds and/or general obligation bond anticipation notes in one or more series on a tax-exempt and/or taxable basis in order to provide the funds to finance various capital projects of the city, providing for the sale of bonds and authorizing other necessary action out of this committee and to the full council for a vote on October 1st.
So moved. So moved.
Can one of you second it as opposed to both moving? Second. Thank you. It's been moved and second on the question. Are there any hands?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Could you make sure I get that net debt service number before Thursday to vote on this?
I made a note on that. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Not voting? Okay. That's the only agenda item we have today. I did want to alert committee members that we are going to have another meeting next Monday. That's October 5th at 5 p.m. To take care of some other business that we have to address. All right. So at this time, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's moved in second. Thank you all for your time, and thank you, Brett and IT, for your help this afternoon. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time.